Looking at past conversations that you might regret now can feel kind of uncomfortable. So let's first start with addressing any resistance you might have to even looking at a past conversation.
More than anything, it's all the people around you.
Go ahead and start tapping on the side of your hand and repeat after me. Even though I don't even want to look at this conversation again, I accept myself and this resistance. And even though I really don't even want to look at this conversation again, let alone read it, I accept myself anyway. And even though I'm just noticing that there's resistance to looking at this conversation again, I accept myself anyway. Top of the head, I don't want to look at this conversation. I just don't even want to look at this conversation. Side of the eye, I don't even want to look at this conversation, let alone read it. Under the eye, I just don't even want to look at this conversation. Under the nose, take a deep breath here. I just don't even want to look at that conversation. Under the mouth, I don't even want to look at it. I don't even want to read it. Collarbone, I don't even want to look at it. Because if I look at it, it'll be real. I'll remember that it happened. So I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at that conversation. Good. Finger points, I don't want to even look at that conversation. Index finger, because then I'll remember that it happened. Middle finger, I don't want to look at that conversation. Pinky finger, I don't want to look at that conversation. Back of the hand, and I'm just noticing how this makes me feel. I just don't want to look at that conversation. And I'm giving myself permission to just feel into this right now. This not wanting to look at that conversation. Good. Go ahead and tap in the center of your chest on that breastbone and take a deep, deep breath here as you feel that tapping in the center of your chest. I just don't want to look at that conversation. And I don't have to right now if I don't want to. I don't want to look at it. Good. Go ahead and relax. And just notice what's coming up for you now at the thought of looking at that conversation. Just gauge your resistance from what it was before and see if it changed after the tapping round. Once you've gotten that resistance to even looking at the conversation down to about a 2 or less and feel that you can look at that conversation, then you can go ahead and move on to this next tapping round. So what I'd like you to do first is read the conversation, and as you're reading, stop when you feel a rise in emotional intensity. Then use the following tapping sequence to help you unpack what you just read. Make sure that you are specific about what sentence or what word made you feel a rise in intensity. Go ahead and start tapping on the side of your hand and repeat after me. Even though just reading the sentence makes me feel, and you can fill that in with whatever is true to you right now, I accept myself and this feeling. And even though just reading that sentence really makes me feel, I accept myself and this feeling. And even though just rereading that sentence really makes me feel into, I accept myself anyway. Top of the head, just rereading this sentence. Eyebrow, just noticing how that sentence makes me feel. Side of the eye, rereading this sentence. Under the nose, this sentence. under the nose, this sentence. Just noticing how this sentence makes me feel. This sentence. Under the arm, this sentence. Good. Go ahead and take a deep breath and relax. And now I want you to reread that sentence in the text or the email and just notice how that makes you feel and compare it to how you felt before you tapped. If the intensity level is still high, that's okay. Maybe you need to tune into what about that sentence is triggering some emotional intensity in your body, in your emotional body as well. So if there's a key word that you're focusing on, then incorporate that into the tapping sequence. So instead of saying this sentence, maybe just say the word that your mind is focusing on in that sentence. Okay? So I hope this helps, and so keep tapping.
Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree. Been wondering just what you mean. Honestly, it's never been much about you. Don't get me wrong, I think you're great. Root of tradition we celebrate. But oh, Christmas tree, more than anything, it's all the people around you. My sister's here, my cousins too. My brothers flew in this afternoon. We're catching up. Oh, what a year. Oh, Christmas tree, I nearly missed you there. Don't get me wrong, you're a sight to see. With all faded photos of family.